Well, that's a missed opportunity. A planet ruled by a phoenix? That would be awesome. Slowly up to now, we have seen signs of Emperor Yodam coming out, and it turns out that the Emperor has been inside of Yodana the entire time without her knowing. It's finally made clear in episode 37 of that fact, but just because the Emperor is becoming more present now doesn't mean he could just come through and wreck shit, because he can't. All the darkness in the resounding area so far isn't stagnant enough. So, in episode 41, Crunchula has now become disillusioned with the bad guys, mainly with Yodana, and to be fair, they are the bad guys. They aren't concerned with whatever quirks Jimenshis have. They just need to do their jobs and collect darkness. But this time, he's had it and defects from the Yodam army, and the Emperor executes him himself. Well, that's game over. Actually, Crunchula didn't die. Garza saved him and asked him to make him something. So, episode 42. Garza's big plan overall is that he wants all the darkness and power for himself. So he becomes one with the Emperor and Yodana, unleashes a fog into the air that turns people into mindless zombies. And what Garza asked Crunchula to make him was a bomb strong enough to knock out the Emperor so that he could take care of him and have all the power. Once Garza takes his new form, Emperor Garza, he fucks everyone up and takes King O'Ratten to Jotunheim to kill him there. Episode 43, Takemichi catches Crunchula and they use him to go to Jotunheim to save the king. And while there, Garza has an epiphany about everything he's done up to now. And it turns out, for one, the royal family has terrible security, since Emperor Yodam walks right through undetected and brainwashes Garza as a kid to be evil. I'm not gonna lie and say that I didn't sympathize, because I did, but I'll give my thoughts on this and Garza when we get to the character analysis. The Emperor turns out to not be dead and kills Garza and Juru, and that's how the episode ends. Now, in episode 44, Tametomo comes up with a new plan using the Kaname stones to seal and destroy the Emperor while he's inside of Yodana. And they actually get very close, having sealed Yodana, until the Emperor decides, fuck that bitch, and kill her to break out, undoing everything that they set up. And yeah. And now for another thing. You know, how many Toku shows can anyone name where they obliviously make a Dragon Ball Z reference? Because the Emperor decides, fuck this, and prepares Frieza's Death Ball to kill everything. Like, freaking lifting it with one hand, I believe. But like, a straight up Death Ball as big as the planet. Gonna kill everything. Thankfully and luckily, Smog Joki interrupts him from ending the planet and shows Juru coming off board. It turns out the Emperor didn't kill Garza. Garza instead transmigrated his consciousness into Smog Joki, and when Juru fell off the abyss, he caught him just in time. He also had a feeling that the Emperor would go after the Kaname stones, so with Crunchula's help, they seal one, Yodana's soul, off them a while ago. Episode 45, I Was Able to Shine Because of You, our final episode.
So let's bring it on home. Emperor Yodam has a weakness, being his face that hides his true Jamin form, so the Kirameigers at least have a target to aim for. With Kirameiger and Gigant Driller, they aim for the mask and get curved. But at the moment, the Emperor is struck in the back by Kirameiger and Gigant Driller because Judo tricked him into believing that he killed them by using the Kaname stone that could create illusions.
Once he falls, they break the mask and force him down to the micro scale. This would be a good time to talk about their roll call. It's good, around average. With their finale roll call, though, it's a nice one. They're all in suit, and it's a helmetless roll call, and they just bring out their own intensity, like the most of their personality, because like this is the final battle, so let's go all out. Ramp it up. This is a 10, bring it to 100. Best part about it too, at the very end, after they've said their entire roll call, their helmets, they flash on for the suit actors to get to work. While everyone tends to the minions, Tametomo instructs Juru to use the Cureful Go arrow to fire an Akaname stone into Yodam to finally kill him. And so, that does the trick, and the world is saved. 3 months later, everyone meets up at Carrot to catch up with Mabushina and Takamichi as they rebuild Crystalia. With everyone else, well, dead, Crunchula is in charge of Yodoheim, and they exist now as a normal planet, I guess? I don't know where they are, but yeah, they are aliens. Mabushina becomes Crystalia's new queen, and we end Kirameiger with Juru infuriating his girlfriend with another portrait he made wrong because she's in a small corner while the rest of the portrait shows the next Sentai, the Zenkaigers.
No comment on them right now because I'm holding off until we review Zenkaiger next year. So look forward to that review, I want to say in March of 2022, because I want to review that show once it's over. So I'm going to give it like a good month. Anywho, so that's the end of Mashin Sentai Kirameiger. And yeah, before getting into my thoughts on the show, let's first talk about the characters. Starting off with our Red Ranger, Juru. Juru is honestly different in a good way. Like, compared to other Red Rangers, he's either the good guy, a cool guy, or some form of way. Juru, on the other hand, is introverted, and I like it. Like, he's introverted, but he's also oblivious into his extroverted side. Whenever he Kirameiger, I'm not even gonna do the full I'm not even gonna do that whole catchphrase. But yeah, Juru as a character, I like him. He's worth respect, despite coming off so quiet. Over time, you see he becomes a lot more comfortable and confident. And so, with that said, next person we'll get to is Tametomo, Yellow. He was such a douche at the beginning of the show. Like, he came off as just such a douche. And I think that stems from, one, he takes the job seriously, and two, honestly, he should have been the team leader instead of Juru, because Tametomo is more of a second in command and field commander. Because between the two of them, Juru is the team leader more for moral support, while Tametomo is the field leader for when they're out like fighting, because he's the team strategist, and he's also rather strategic minded and tactically brilliant for a gamer, which actually all makes sense with him. And yeah, when putting all this together, he's the one who comes up with the idea that kills the Emperor once and for all at the end, So it really does make you think, like, yeah, that Tomei should have been the leader. And despite the Red Kirame Stone choosing Judo, but it does show here that they can both share it. But that's just something I noticed. And honestly, I wouldn't have mind Tomei being the leader. Because, yeah, like what I said, he comes off as a bit of a dick, but he's not malicious or obnoxious about it. He's reasonable and stern. And whenever he has something to say about, well, when they're out working, he doesn't say it to be rude. He says it within reason. So he's not unreasonable in his actions. But still, personality-wise, he's fine. It's just about passable. And so next, Shigeru, Blue. The first time around when I was watching this show, he was like my favorite character because he's stoic, quiet, and he's partly responsible for some of the best moments of comedy in this show because he tries to keep a strong face the entire time, and there will be those times where he doesn't. Like, something really has to make him break his composure just so you can see him show emotion. Another thing too, he may like Sayo. Like, I'm not too entirely sure if he actually does, but you get some little hints that shows he may be attracted to her, but it's never touched on, so for the most, it doesn't matter. But yeah, for Shigeru, he's a good character. He's a good Blue. And honestly, throughout the show, only 3 people are actually able to, well, 4 people are actually able to channel Cure Mental into special ways, and Shigeru is one of them with his swordsmanship. So, next. The next few characters I actually want to talk about now. I want to have them all together. Mainly because I can almost say the same thing about them. And those are the girls. So Senna, Sayo, and while I'm at it, Mabushina. The girls don't get much, sadly. Like, Senna is perky, Sayo is pretty, and she's level-headed, and Mabushina is cutesy. She's basically Pink from Talk Huger. I don't know what more I could say, but with the girls, yeah, this is one thing that sadly exists. Like, the girls sadly don't get a lot, while the guys do. Like, while Senna at least has some focus episodes, Sayo honestly rarely has any. And it's all she is the cool one, while Senna is the perky one, I want to say. Sorry, I was just grabbing my phone because I kept hearing it vibrate. Nothing but notifications. But yeah. But I will say this, because it is the same actress who was in Ghost. She turned in a much better performance here than in Ghost. So next, Takemichi, our 6th Ranger. He is an about average 6th Ranger. Not awful, not terrible. Like, once we learn his reasons as to why, more of his personality and who he is comes out more, which was great for everyone. So, he's not bad. He's pretty fine. So, next, let's talk about the villains, because I honestly think the villains are, like, the best part of the show. Now, I'm being dead serious here. I'm not going to talk about the Emperor because the dude came way too late, although they have been foreshadowing him since the beginning. So, let's start off first with Garza. Garza, with the big revelation of him not actually hating his brother, and turned out was cast a spell upon to be evil. While I do like how he was in his story before then, up to now, I actually do still like his story. Like, yeah, it retconned all of his actions, but I can't bring myself to hate it because I still feel bad for him. Part of his life was taken away from him by the Emperor, and that just feels so sad. And he managed to at least redeem himself at the very end. And sorry, spam, call, weather. Anywho, Garza, from start to finish, he was one of my favorite villains in this show. And like what I said, from the past few months, I've just been watching Showa KamenRider, and coming off the Skyrider where the villains were just unmemorable, it's nice to go back to a more modern format with the villains. You have someone who's just a dick and sometimes wins and sometimes loses in what he goes after. And that's Garza. I love it. So, next let's talk about Crunchula, because he sadly gets the short end of the stick. He's not all that interesting until the end of the show, where they actually bother to humanize him. Well, at least Judu. Well, because of Judu, they were able to humanize him. But yeah, before then, there's not really much for me. Well, not really much of him for me to try to like. Like, he creates the monsters, but honestly, Crunchula is just, well, quirky. That's all I can really say. Now, Yodana. She is my favorite. She was my favorite character in this show overall, hands down. No one else. She was my favorite. I loved how she started off. Her introduction from where Tamitomo is attracted to her, and then she blows that away immediately with revealing that she's evil, and then the Kiramagers just get overpowered by her powering up the minions and everything. And even still going on after that, I love that. Even with her personality, like, she doesn't understand everything, and she uses that to twist it into being more evil. Like, bad, good, laugh about it, and possibly show a Charles Manson tongue thing, because, dear good Lord in Christ, she does do that, and it's a little disturbing. The show knows cringe comedy, but oh my god, Yodana was amazing. I felt bad for her when she died. That says something. She was hands down my favorite villain from this show. Second is Garza. She is my favorite. And so, that's been Kirameiger. I honestly kind of really like this show now. While going back, well, by sitting here right now for like the whole day and reviewing it, I actually really like this show so much more. Like, I like the characters. This show is funny. Everything in this show is impactful. Despite how small it may seem on the surface, it means a lot when they dive into it more and more. This show makes itself get deep, and I like that. And while it seems silly that the motivation for the villains is that they want to collect darkness, they take it all so seriously with what that darkness can do. And I appreciate this so much. So yeah, go check out Kirameiger. It's a fun show. You might like it. and laugh at it. Oh man, you might want to laugh at moments in this show. But yeah, that's been my review of Mashin Sentai Kirameiger. So, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for next time, because the next show I'll be reviewing in October will be KamenRider Saber. Once again, back to modern television, and I am enjoying it. See you guys later. Peace.